Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got a first reaction to the new film, The Zone of Interest. A24 sent me this screener. I was excited because Zone of Interest is one of those films that, up until seeing it, I didn't really know what it was about. I purposely try to avoid as much as I can about films that I'm excited for, films that I hear a lot of praise or distinction with. I try not to try to watch a bunch of stuff about films. And this is one I didn't know anything about. So I went into it thinking Jonathan Glazer directed it. He also directed Under the Skin. So Zone sounds kind of sci-fi. So not having seen a trailer, not having seen a poster, and even the screener that I got is very much a black background over just a homestead, I guess. I was thinking sci-fi spectacle of some sort, and I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. In fact, watching the film, I was kind of in a dour mood before I started it, and I was looking for maybe a slight pick-me-up. Little did I even think to myself that, of course, even though Jonathan Glazer's film Under the Skin was a complete downer, I don't know why I thought this would be any different, but... So The Zone of Interest, for if you haven't seen it, it's basically... set in Germany during World War II, follows a family that's basically, the head of the family is a Nazi leader. He is perfectly fine with the fact that they live right nearby a concentration camp. They live right nearby atrocities, and they're just living their lives. There's a scene in which the wife, Sandra Hüller, who is also in Anatomy of a Fall, comes home, and she's got coats. And we're not really supposed to ask the family, or the family's not supposed to ask where these came from. They're just supposed to, hey, take a coat, enjoy it, have fun, not knowing the horrors that existed to the people who were wearing those coats previously. This movie is a movie that I liked quite a bit, and I feel like it's going to have staying power with me because it's such an unusual take on the World War II Nazi format, because we're spending time sleeping with the enemy here. We are watching the daily lives, the minutia that comes out of atrocities, and the things that we become comfortable with when we think we're right and when we have power. The movie is, it's haunting. Its biggest horrors are in its sound design and sound mixing. And I think the way in which the sound works, I can easily see this winning a Best Sound Oscar, just because the film, without good sound, I don't think works nearly as well. And I think that's why the sound is the strongest element. It's the MVP of the movie because it is the most horrifying element in the film that persists constantly throughout. Sandra Hüller is quite good in the film. It's hard for me to say I liked her more than this than Anatomy of a Fall, because I think she has a lot more to do in Anatomy of a Fall, being the lead of that film, but she's quite good in here as well. And I think Christian Friedel is the one who plays, I believe, her husband. And he starts off being basically very boxed character Nazi villain. But seen from a different light. And then as the layers come on, he's got these kind of nuances to him. He's not a sympathetic character by any means, but he's one who is eventually going to realize what he has done and how he has gone. And the idea that at this point he is too far gone in his decisions. In fact, I think the film's best moment is a very, very risky ending sequence in the film, in which he is at a party celebrating something that's taken place, and I can't tell you what happens. I don't want to tell you what happens, because I think the way in which this is a directing feat on Glazer's part, the way in which Glazer chooses to showcase or reframe the narrative of what's happening in the film, I think is a simplistic thing. It's not one of these shocking moments. It's just how he chooses to do it in the nature of the film. I think works really, really well. And I think it's not the saving grace of the movie, but I think it elevates the movie. This is a case where, again, I think I liked the movie, but what's going to stay with me is those last couple minutes. I often tell people, I don't walk out of movies. I don't turn movies off partway through if I've never seen them, because there could always be that thing in there that just elevates the film another notch. Like is a weird word. I think Zone of Interest was a good movie throughout. But at the ending, I think it elevates to another level, something that is truly unique, and reframes the whole conversation. And I think it's the thing that I'll be thinking about a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, even if I don't watch the film again, even though I intend to watch the film again. It's not a fun movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not meant to be that. It's meant to be kind of a horror tale in some ways, but it's one where the killers don't even really think about the people they're killing. So it's not a feel-good movie, not intended to be, but it's a powerful, thought-provoking story with some great performances. And I think, again, I gotta give credit to Jonathan Glazer for tightening up the runtime. This movie could have gone on far too long. I think even something as much as like 5 minutes more of the runtime would have messed with the narrative flow of the film. I think it has a great runtime to it. I love these great directors that are thinking we don't have to make a 3-hour movie, 3.5-hour movie. We can just make something that really flows beginning to end. I think Jonathan Glazer did that here. So my recommendation, yes, go see The Zone of Interest as soon as you can. It is a fantastic film. I think it's one that works quite well on the big screen, or should work quite well on the big screen. But I watched it at home, and I thought it was just as effective. But I think that it's a movie that if you see it in a theater, you're going to probably watch it in nearly complete silence, because I don't know that there's going to be much joy out of talking and discussing the film while it's going on. So at least knowing you'll probably see it in a theater that would be quiet. Or check it out at home as well. A24 is releasing the film. And thank you again to A24 for sending me a screener of the film, because I don't think it's the easiest one to find right now. Go ahead and check it out when you get a chance, and come on back here and let me know your thoughts on The Zone of Interest. I was surprised because I was not a big fan of Under the Skin, and that's the only other Glazer film I've seen. So did you like this film more than Under the Skin, less than? Do you have a favorite Glazer film that I'm not talking about here? Let me know down in the comments section below, as well as your thoughts on the film. While you're down there, please like and subscribe. There are 2 free things you can do that help support the channel immensely, and you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. You can also find my film reviews over at goatfilmreviews.com. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. And you can find my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Plodchuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. All the links I mentioned, they're down in the description, and we'll see you next time.